Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, death, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, romance and flirting, references to sexual entanglements, alcohol and smoking, cults and cult-like behaviors, blood and bloodletting, animal violence, curses, compulsive behaviors, and intrusive thoughts. Butts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arc 5, Episode 5 of The Second Stranger. This is Session 3 of our Dabathati crew. Hello. I'm going to completely ignore how C decided to open this session. Hi, I am your GM, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I'm the game master and creative producer behind this shindig Transplanar RPG. You can find me on TikTok and Twitter at @ByConnieChong, or you can toss a coin to your Connie on Ko-Fi at @ByConnieChong. I do have Ko-Fi memberships open to make that a monthly subscription. If you like me so much, you can give me num money every month. And with that, I'm gonna pass along introductions to Dare.
Hi. I hated every part of that. Hi, I'm Dare. Pronouns she, they, neo ones, all fine. I'm playing gentle, they, them pronouns. You can find me on most places of the internet at Dare to Dream RPG. That is DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. So yeah, that's me. I'm going to toss it to, forgot who it is. Humna.
Hello, my name is Humna, and I use any and all pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at @HShahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects I'm a part of, because I am a TTRPG AP performer, and I'm a part of a few different projects right now. So if you like what I do, you should follow me there, and I will pass things along to C.
Hi everyone, my name is C. I am using they, them pronouns. I am a dancer, digital artist, and tabletop streamer, here to be a local problem, apparently. I don't know what's going on. Connie was like, let's record, and I said, okay, time for bad, time for chaos. So you can find me anywhere on the internet making bad decisions, as well as very trans, very gay art, at PieSharpArt. I tried to post back on my Tumblr now, so I've just been posting like 20,000 things a day. That's there. So you can also find me on various APs. Check me out on Twitter to get just kind of a full overview of the things that I'm doing. And I'll pass it back to Connie for our intro to what we're doing here today.
Yes. This is Episode 5 of The Second Stranger, Arc 5, which is our main D&D campaign. We stream every Saturday at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, with alternating parties. So for the full Second Stranger experience and story, tune in every Saturday to follow our main PCs in their quest to restore balance to Andake and kick some apocalypse ass. If you're not aware already, Transplanar RPG, the channel we're streaming on, is an all-transgender, POC-led, 100% homebrew D&D show set in the original non-colonial, anti-orientalist world of Andake. So welcome, you're watching The Second Stranger. We're so psyched you're here. Though if you're new to our show, perhaps a podcast version is a good place to begin, see?
I was like, wow, that's so cool, Connie. And then that's me. Hi. So if you like podcast versions of things, we have one of those. We have a podcast that releases every Tuesday at the ass crack of dawn. We just started Arc 3, The Carnival, Connie's true foray into the realm of truly evil GMing. Emotional damage TikTok sound playing for that entire background music just the whole time. So leave us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and a review if you like, because it really helps. It brings gay little tears to my eyes. Plus, if you like podcasts and you like exclusive stuff like listening to podcasts before anyone else, you can also join our Patreon. Patrons get early access to those podcast episodes, as well as tons and tons of bonus content, such as character playlist, like deep dives, things like monthly gaming nights and cast Q&As. It's really, really cool. So use !Patreon in chat to get just come join us. Come join the Transplanar Club. I don't know what I'm doing. Connie, please stop me now.
I'm going to stop you right there, buddy. So speaking of our Patreon, a huge shout out to our Patreon Paragons. These are patrons pledged at the highest tier on our Patreon. So thank you so much to Abigail Reitel, Azara, Brooke Bright, Charles, Chiacres, Cora Eckert, Lex Slater, Marvelous, Mitzi, Moonflower Tea, Purple Mouse, and Target. And a haiku for you for this episode. Count 'em, pups. That's my gender neutral term for folks. Folks is gender neutral.
Connie, you good?
Why is that what you defaulted to?
Anyway, 575. Bud is bloodthirsty. Jaran shakes hands with Adam. Where is Citlalli? Very vital questions to ask. Dare, tell us about other ways you can all support our stream here.
Yeah, in terms of other things that are vital, donations. Hi. We have a donation goal and incentives for this stream. Those donos are now going towards super fun bonus scenes, and if we hit our goal, we will have a very gay secret backstory. Use the !donate command in our chat to support our all trans POC-led cast and keep the chaotic, as you can clearly see, queer content alive. I am going to throw it over.
Yes. So, what happened last time? I don't even remember. Just kidding. I do, because I'm going to tell you right now. So, previously on the Dothachi section of the Second Stranger, don't ask me, the Harpy Hotel explodes. Fun times. The hounds, minus Citlalli, who's chosen to find Sybil, great idea, and start trying to get Bud back, makes their escape, and we fly back to Karishma's secret garden, unbeknownst to Rem. Oka's Paragon nightmare shifts, and they wake up screaming as usual. The meeting with Karishma is clipped and tense. She's barely hanging onto her seat as the last bastion of anti-chrysalis sentiment. And we as the hounds need to fix V's mistake, and fast. She points us in the direction of the monster fighting pits to find Lady Saram and find out where old Mama Lightning has gone. Geron steals plans to the chrysalis's headquarters and sneaks off while Mercy goes to look for Citlalli. In the monster fighting pits, Gentle and Oka face down an empty mimic, a absolutely terrifying creature, which nearly brings them to their knees, but their celebration is cut short by a chrysalis member being executed by the Aurochs Guild. The crowd chants for a butcher, and we're reunited with Bud, aka Butcher, the executioner. Meanwhile, Geron sneaks into the chrysalis headquarters, which has gotten a lot nicer since last year. They definitely had a glow up. The basement is, as expected, full of monsters eating people, which I knew, who give chase to our darling little rogue. They're stopped, however, by Adam, the imago and leader of the chrysalis. Adam seems to know everything about Geron, which is kind of creepy, to be honest, and offers him a deal. Let the chrysalis kill old Mama Lightning so that the Paragons cannot enact the prophecy. Geron agrees to think about it, and that's where we left off last time. Fun. Okay, and that brings us to today's episode. So, as always, the title of our episodes come from lines of poems that are written by marginalized creators of all different stripes. Today, the title of the episode is Devour and Feed from the poem V-Neck T-Shirt Sonnet by Joseph O. Legespi. The full verse reads as follows. Let me be that endangered species, huddled in the vessel of the inverted triangle, gaped mouth of a great white fish on the verge of striking, poised to devour and feed on skin, on all.
Thank you, Hamna, for that very unsettling verse. And with that out of the way, some content warnings for this upcoming episode and our campaign in general may include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, discussion of death and killing, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, active flirting between PCs and NPCs, romance, kissing, references to sexual entanglement, alcohol and smoking, cults and cult-like behaviors, blood and bloodletting, and animal violence. So use !CW in chat for a full list of content warnings at any time, and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils so you know what territory will never broach into no matter how dark things get. So, let's begin. Geron, you shake hands with Adam, the self-proclaimed imago of the chrysalis. A human man, as far as you know, with a smile like a knife and hair as blonde as gilded straw. His grip is firm, self-assured. His blue eyes glint like placid ice. And then he lets go of your hand. Adam gestures at the wooden door behind you, a door built into the wall of his domed underground office, filled to the brim with peculiarities. Strange, spindly silver instruments whirring on stone shelves, leather-bound books with titles in languages you don't recognize, glass orbs full of dazzling smoke. Please, Geron, allow me to walk you out.
Geron will take one last look at Adam, one last look around the office, and nod.
Adam takes a torch from a sconce, the same one that he put into the office during the beginning of your discussion, and begins to escort you through this labyrinthine darkness after pushing this door on well-oiled hinges open. The flickering light from this torch dances against the rocky walls all around you. And in this oppressive darkness, it's difficult to tell what's real and what's not. Whether that flitting shadow is a monster lurking just out of reach or a mere trick of the light. You don't really know. And as you walk, the damp smell of the underground fills your nostrils, a rich, earthen, sickly sweet smell. All you hear around you are your own muffled footsteps and Adam's, and the faint sizzle of the torch. Eventually, Adam breaches a larger chamber, a familiar one, and what you see on the cusp of his torchlight are cages. Dozens and dozens of steel cages, metal bars stained with rust? No, blood. You glimpse cracked bone, shredded clothing, a boot here, a hand there, skin, gristle. You also see monsters, empty beasts, creatures you have never encountered before, fleshy conglomerations of shadow molded into the vague shape of people or dogs or maybe both, dribbling tar black drool as they crunch and chew and swallow. And as they sense the fire, they look up, and you see flat, depthless eyes like buttons or holes staring out back at you. Some of these monsters you realize have one eye, others 3 or 7 or 19. Some have a single limb and 2 mouths, others have 1 mouth and 2 limbs. Their shapes and sizes and configurations are varied, but they all respond to your arrival in the same way. By pressing their fleshy mass against the steel bars of the cages, oozing past the cracks like foam expanding in water, sloughing and slapping down onto the dungeon floor, claws and nails and fingers scrabbling against tile. And that's when Adam cuts in and says, "That's enough." And just like that, every single one of these monsters stops approaching you, and they just sort of seethe there, waiting and undulating. And Adam turns back to you, Jaran, and says casually, "I saved you this time. But if you come down here again by yourself, without calling ahead, I'm afraid I won't be around to bail you out. The stairs are at the end of this chamber." Turns back to the beasts. "Let this one through, but next time, you can eat."
Why feed people to the monsters?
What a silly question. Why do you eat food?
I suppose that's true.
You see, people like you and me need food to survive, yes? Emissaries live on magic, and who knows what sustains the gods before they left us. These sweet creatures need soul stuff.
Souls. That's
Yes.
what they feed on. Not the flesh, not the blood, not the bone, but the soul.
Feed is such a person-centric word, no?
What do you mean?
I don't know if I would call it feeding so much as keeping safe. You're a monster hunter, aren't you? Surely you've dissected one of these sweet beasts before? Seen the bags inside?
I wouldn't exactly consider that keeping the soul safe.
Why not? Otherwise, the souls just, and he snaps, disappear into the weave without an after to go back to.
Yes, but they're stolen from a person's body first.
I'm a very busy man, Geron. Please. And he gestures toward the end of the chamber again.
Geron moves to, exit by the stairs, and with one foot on the first step, I think hesitates, turns back at Adam. Old Mama Lightning dies so that the other paragons survive. Yes?
A small price to pay for disrupting fate, don't you think?
Small price to pay. And Geron turns back around and ascends the stairs.
As you do, your own footsteps sort of clacking against the stone. Presumably, Adam handed you the torch, so you're like holding it aloft to light your way. You hear his voice ringing out at you, growing smaller and smaller through the darkness. Just remember, Jaran, you promised to think about it. And I think we cut now as you're like ascending the stairs to a tavern. A dingy, hole-in-the-wall bar in some forgotten alley of the district of Suraksha, right? Tucked between, like, a head shop and, like, a tattoo parlor, right? And the lounge inside this tavern is just filled with hookah smoke, right? The smell of beer and wine and the clacking of knuckle bones and dice as patrons gamble their life savings away. And we see big clay pots of hallucinogenic soma sitting on high shelves behind the bar, right? As, like, various barkeeps, like, sweep from order to order, and servers also move between like low mats and tables. And amidst this ruckus, Geron, where do we find you?
When Jaran exited the Chrysalis headquarters, he put his dupatta back on his head, back to cover his face, but took off the Chrysalis shawl and put that into their bag. And when they entered into this tavern, they would have looked for like the nearest empty, like kind of isolated booth that they could find. And when they sat down, they pulled out the Chrysalis blueprints to their headquarters and then covered them with, I assume he carries like 2 or 3 books on him, like his journal plus like a couple other like research books around the Paragon War, and placed them kind of strategically on the blueprints to cover like identifying sections. So the part that labels it as like the Chrysalis headquarters and like other sort of spaces. And they've been sitting here trying to fill in the missing pieces. So you mentioned that the blueprints in the basement are mostly empty. So based on his memory of having been down there, Geron is trying to fill in the rest of the blueprints.
Have inspiration for that. As your hand's gripping, let's say, like a piece of charcoal or a pencil or something, and you're hunched over this blueprint in like a corner of the smoky tavern just working, right? I think as you're trying to fill in like the cages, let's say like sketching out like a rough estimate of how many there are, how big this chamber is, where you approximate it is in relation to the stairwell, I think like you just hear like Adam's voice, I think like ring in your head again, like, just remember, you promised to think about it. Right? You just hear that line ringing through your head. And I think like you're like staring down at this paper as you're gripping this pencil. How do you shake it off?
I think it's hard. I think it's really hard because Geron has been thinking not just about that line, but about the vision that Adam showed them back in his office. Like the one of this future where everything's fine, the Paragons are alive, you know, everybody is happy, the hounds are together. And I think maybe that's kind of like, maybe it's not even necessarily that he's like shaking it off, but he finds a different thing to fixate on, and it's that vision that he chooses to sort of like replay over and over and over in his head.
So we just see Geron like hunched in a shadowy corner of this tavern, gripping a pencil, eyes kind of unfocused, looking down at this map, right? And we push it on your unfocused eyes to see this vision, this beautiful utopic future where you and Oka are together and happy and safe, and so are all the hounds, and there's no problems anymore, and the stranger's gone. And you just hear Adam's voice ringing through this mindscape. Just think about it. Just think about it, Jaran. Jaran, you promise you just think about it. Just think about it. And on each iteration of this phrase, you just sort of see Oka's happy face flashing by, right? Just think about it. And then like Oka's like laughing face flashing by, just think about it. And then like Oka's back, right, turned to you as you're like cuddling them in bed, just think about it. And then Oka turned over underneath you as you're wrestling with them, right, laughing, just think about it. Think about it, Oka, right? It. Think about what you're trying to protect, Oka, right? Just think about it. Think about Oka. But what are you trying to protect Oka from? From dying, right? Because of the Paragon prophecy. Think about it. Think about Oka dying from the Paragon prophecy, right? What are you trying to protect? Oka dying from the Paragon prophecy, right? Just think about it. It. Oka dying. Dying. Oka. Oka dying. Oka dying. Oka. Hey, Geron.
Yeah. And Geron will look up, Mercy? What are you doing here?
And we cut now to the monster fighting pits. Gentle, you and Oka stand side by side in the middle of this like dirt patio, this massive field. All around you are just bleachers and seats packed to the gills with hundreds, if not like 1,000 different spectators, all wearing masks, cheering, their fists pounding the air, all of them, every single mouth wide open, chanting, "Butcher, butcher, butcher," as standing before you, the two of you see Bud. His big, wet, black eyes like lychee pits glistening with glee as his sharp claws, blood-stained teeth, and fur laced with dust and gore sort of just ruffle and sort of go akimbo as he just rips into this person, this chrysalis agent, right, that was caught and thrown into the pit with you. And I see like rips up like a piece of gore and bites into it and spits it back out. We see this like black leather collar kind of studded with sharp white spikes that's new around his neck. And there's like a little like gold like coin, like a name tag like glimmering on the front with a B etched into it. And as Bud looks up from like, you know, the chrysalis agent has stopped screaming at this point, stopped moving, stopped spurting blood even. Bud looks up, muzzle stained with red and gore. We see these floppy gray ears, one of which is pierced, actually, glimmering with this like ruby red jewelry, flop up. And his eyes fix on you, Gentle. What do you do?
Bud?
Roll animal handling.
Oh, my baby boy, what have they done to you? All right, so my best roll was a 21.
21. As you say Bud's name, this butcher, this Bud, cocks his gray furred head to the side, and you see recognition glimmer in his like shining wet black eyes, and a tongue flops out, and he begins like barreling toward you. Right, like the paws like flopping over the dirt, like running toward you, right? Which might be a terrifying vision, I think, for anyone else to encounter like a massive bloodstained direwolf coming at you. But you just sort of see like his ears up, his tail's up, and looks happy to see you and is wagging as he's like coming toward you. Do you let him just sort of like bowl you over as he's like trying to come up on you?
Brace for it, but otherwise, yes.
Bud has gotten a lot bigger and a lot stronger, right? He was kind of like maybe an adolescent, pre-adolescent dire wolf when you last saw him. Now he's like almost like fully adult, right? Which is like the size of a horse, maybe like a big horse. He puts his two front paws up and bam, like slams down on you, right? Like licking you all over. So just make a strength save to see if you can stand your ground.
Do I have anything for it? Because I braced.
Is Oka helping in some way?
Oka has never met Bud before. So they're kind of they're still panting, watching this go down. And I think it's only when Gentle says Bud does the math start mathing. And they just kind of go, oh no. But I don't think they're helping. They've taken a few steps back.
If not, then I got a 14.
You fall to the ground, like you're back, like a board, like bam, like slamming onto the ground. Bud is immediately on you, like licking you, right? There's like confusion in the stands. Okay, you can hear people like murmuring, being like, what's going on? Like shouting, right? Like the gnomish like announcers going, oh, it appears that Butcher has gone for another victim, is eating the master. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute, that's not an attack. What's happening here? And like there's like some murmuring, right? As Bud's just like licking your face and sort of like finally backs off, right? Like nails kind of scrabbling at you, clearly not trying to hurt you, but he's gotten a lot bigger and doesn't seem to just realize how heavy and strong he's become. So his claws just kind of dig into you and maybe draw a little bit of blood. I'm not gonna have you take damage, but like for flavor, he's like digging into your armor and like licking you, like snapping a little bit at you in excitement, right? Drool getting on your face and someone else's blood too.
Hey, back off.
No. It's fine. I like slide my mask off. I'm like, hey, Bud.
Gentle!
Like, just like pet
Gentle!
How are you?
Gentle! And like Bud's just like licking your face, right? And
You're
like
so big.
Hi.
What? You've gotten so big. What's happened?
Bud jumps off of you and does like a play bow, right? And is like jumping from side to side, and it goes, Gentle, 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 hi. Did you see me? Did you see me back there? And like Bud is looking between you and the ripped up remains of the Chrysalis agent. Did you see me?
I did. Did
I do good? Did I do good?
This is a complicated question you asked me.
Gentle? Is this
Oh,
Bud?
Yeah, Bud, I need you to meet Oka. You never got to meet them.
I thought you said they were a puppy.
Bud got bigger.
Bud turns his massive head toward you, Oka. And this is the first time you've seen Bud. And you don't see the puppy that Bud came from. You just see a massive direwolf that can talk. Weirdly enough, like, is speaking common, right? Like, you don't know how that's happening, but maybe you're just accepting it. And you just see these massive, predatory, pure black eyes that maybe remind you of Bulette's eyes or a shark's eyes, right? And these huge, like, gnashing, sharpened teeth and these claws just studded with someone else's blood and flesh. Oka? Hello, Oka. Oka's a friend? Good? I don't have to kill Oka?
No. No, remember how we were going all across, like, everywhere to go find Oka? Oka was dating Jaran, that whole thing.
I do remember.
Wait, the dog knows that I'm dating Geron?
Bud is more than a dog.
Geron smelled like Oka. That is the smell. And like Bud comes closer, like big wet nose sniffing you up and down, like maybe getting some like wetness like on your body, right? Up and down. Oh, you smell like what we were chasing after. I remember. Oka.
Hi, yes. Thank you. And Oka kind of like pushes his nose away to get away from those big chompers.
I'm so happy to see you, Gentle. Why didn't you come earlier?
It took a while to get here.
Okay.
Can I insight check that okay?
Yes, you can.
Oh no, my son's disappointed in me. That is a 19.
Bud seems to be taking what you're saying at face value, but you get the sense that there's something deeper here. Okay, like as you look at like the collar, like the little pierced ear, like the glee glinting in Bud's eyes as he was ripping that person apart, something has changed for sure with Bud. And as your eyes fall upon that glinting like B plate on the collar, it twists, and you see the back of it says Sybil.
Hey, Bud. How has Sybil been treating you?
Sybil's great. I love Sybil. Sybil's your friend, right? Sybil said they were your friend.
Sybil is a friend of Citlalli.
Oh, yes, Citlalli. Sybil does like Citlalli. Sybil talks about Citlalli quite a lot. Sybil's great. I get to eat all kinds of bones. I have a lot of fun and playtime here every day because of Sybil. And Sybil says I'm a good boy for doing everything I've done so far and gives me lots of treats and lots of snuggles and hugs every day.
That's good, and I'm glad Sybil took care of you for a little bit, but are you ready to join the hounds again?
At that, Bud just quirks his like massive head to the side. Those ears flop over, right? Sort of maybe like invert a little to show some pink. Join the hounds? What do you mean?
Well, go back with me and Geron and Citlalli and Oka and Mercy and help Andake.
Aren't you staying here? Isn't that why you're here? To come and stay with me and play with me forever?
I wanted us to go explore more of the world. And, I mean, we have to go back to Morose at least once so you can see home.
Home. And a kind of faraway look comes over Bud's face, right? And there's like a crinkle between Bud's brow, and you sort of see like their big floppy jaw sort of droop a little. Home. And like they shake their head, like and the ears sort of flop side to side. I am home. Here. With Sybil. And I think maybe at that, A different voice projects over the arena, very different from the gnome. Lady Saram's voice brings out, prim and proper as a rose with thorns. Attendees of the pits, thank you so much for placing your bets and patronizing our establishment today. We do have to clear the arena for, cleaning. And there's like laughter right from the arena, like when she says this. So please, drop your final bets to the bookies and enjoy the gambling parlor. And like there's sort of like a massive movement as people start getting up, right? Filtering out, like up and out of like stairs and like various like exits, right? Entrances and exits, circulating this entire Colosseum-like structure. And Bud looks up and says, I need to go and get my fur scrubbed and my teeth cleaned. And I have a bunch of, I think Sybil calls them manservants, to attend to me and help me. Would you like to meet them?
Yes?
Gentle, I think we need to go talk to Lady Saram, maybe about all of this.
Yeah. Well, but, I have to go have a little meeting thing, but I wanted you to have this, and I reach into, my bag, and I give Bud, the wooden, like the big wooden dice that he used to chew on when he was little, back in the ball. I saved these so I could give them back to you. And I want you to have one.
Oh. Bud's eyes fall down on this big wooden dice, which maybe still has like chew marks, you know, from like when Bud would gnaw on it. Cocks his head to the side, like drops his head down, sniffs it. Oh, I remember this. This was a toy from when I was a baby. When I was a pup.
Yeah, I saved it for you because I knew I was gonna come find you.
Oh. Gentle, I need you to roll. There's no good skill for this. I guess it would be persuasion. Roll charisma persuasion for
fudge.
me. Yeah.
That's such a bad gentle skill. Got a 4, man.
Bud sniffs it and says, thanks for holding on to it, Gentle, but I'm not a pup anymore. You can keep it.
Okay. Well, since I'll see you in a little bit, can I just give you a hug before we go?
Of course. And Bud bounds up to you, snuggles you, like rubs against you, like licks you and nuzzles, right? But then pulls away before you're ready, I think, and says, all right, I have to go get cleaned by my manservants now. Bye, Gentle, it was so good to see you. And Bud turns around, like blasely, kind of, and just sort of like casually gallops off, right? Like back the way he came, like toward that portcullis.
I think Gentle just looks really dejected, and like their entire body just shrinks into themselves.
Oka leans down and picks up one of the wooden dice, I think, and they turn it over in their hands, kind of feeling the grooves of these like bite marks and claw marks. And they look at Gentle, and even behind the mask, it's very clear in their face that they don't really know what to say. But they kind of get close and like sling an arm over Gentle's shoulder to like help keep them up. And it's like, I take it that was Bud. I mean, you introduced me, but I know how hard it is when things change without you.
Thank you. I'm gonna get him back still, no matter what.
I think that's a good idea. He might be happy, but I don't think he's well.
Hard to trust someone named Sybil the Cruel, you know?
Yeah, that was maybe not something I would have done. It's not your fault, Gentle. You have a really good heart.
Oka, what do you do when you're so angry? I just want to, like, break everything.
I usually break stuff. But Gentle, And they take both of, I think, they kind of move around to stand in front of you, and they take both of their hands and cup, like, both of your cheeks, if you'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
It has never once made me feel better. It makes me angrier because I can't get it out. It's too big. Okay? Hurting other people, hurting the world around you. It won't make you feel better.
I think if there's anyone I needed to hear that from, it's you.
Things have
You've
changed.
grown a lot.
Fuck, you're telling me. It hurts. It fucking hurts, Gentle. It hurts to change. But it feels better than hurting everything else. We can do this. Okay, Lady Saram is fucking terrifying, but they're a captain. They'll be able to help us get Bud back.
What do you need me to do to help with this talk?
Lady Saram wants something from me, from us. We just need to figure out what it is that will make her not kill us.
Okay, I can do that. I can help however you need me to help.
Thank you. I need your help, Gentle. I do.
I'll help with no question.
And for you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's taste Mahu's fucking rage now.
I think just to sort of end this out, I think Gentle does stand up straight, and once again, you can always see they're a decently amount taller than Oka, and they do get their hair back in the titular ponytail. And they feel a bit more steeled after all of that. And they're on their own feet.
Oka and Gentle, as the two of you turn to face Lady Saram in the stands. At this point, she and her lavish retinue of bodyguards and lieutenants, right, and servants that are always swarming her, are some of the only people left in the arena. Like, the last stragglers are, like, filing out, and all of you just sort of hear, like, the distant metallic ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung of various portcullises, like, slamming shut to, like, block the exits and entrances into and out of this place. And she's sort of up on the stands looking down at the two of you in the arena, right? She's got her parasol up, in this, like, frilly, like, pink and black with lots of lace, kind of like Lolita fashion, just like the last time you saw her, Oka. She sort of twirls her parasol, like, to side and side and side as the two of you approach or look up at her. And she addresses you first, Oka, looking down at you. Oka Hien, formerly exiled prince of Tulongan nobility. Second born. My. I thought royalty would be more conscientious about paying back their debt.
I'm here to pay it back.
Almost a year later, that is not looking good for the reputation of your mother-father.
I don't think we need to play with my mother-father's reputation, nor anything other than my own.
You're right. After all, your own title carries weight, doesn't it? One of the heroes of Dabathati, queller of the rage, paragon of Sen.
You're very clever, Lady Saram.
And you sort of see, like, her one sharp crimson eye, like, glinting out from behind her, like, bone-white bangs as she says this, right? The smooth leather of her eye patch on the other one also, like, glinting the torchlight around. So you've come here to strike a deal, no?
I have. And please do keep in mind that I have added interest to what I'm offering.
She raises a perfectly manicured eyebrow at that.
Karishma tells me that you're having a chrysalis problem. Infestation of bugs, perhaps we could call it.
An infestation that one of your own planted on your way out, no?
It's true. It is true. I can't deny it. But when we first got here, well, the chrysalis was already here. they would have become a problem either way, eventually. You know this to be true, I think. You know enough about them, how they work. No?
To know your enemy is to know yourself.
Let me help you with this chrysalis problem. My title carries weight, no? Hero of Dabathati, Paragon of Sen. On behest of the Alliance of the Eight, I'll bring you Adam's fucking head.
A calculating smile sort of cuts open her face, like a shark cutting through water. And she exhales sharply through her nose. Now that might just be enough for payment with interest. I am, after all, the Aurochs Guild's bookkeeper. Leave us. And with that, almost all of her servants and bodyguards leave, except for one or two that seem to be her trusted right and left hands, right? They leave, they get out of there. And as soon as they're gone, Lady Saram says, I don't just want the chrysalis disbanded. I need something else. Captain Dovrenye is missing. I suspect she's been kidnapped by the chrysalis. Return her to us safe and sound, and deliver Adam's head on a silver platter to me personally, and I will see to it that the debt is settled. And her crimson eye falls upon you, Gentle. Perhaps I will have a chat with one of my fellow captains about whether or not Butcher stays or leaves.
Can I at least know what Sybil did to Bud?
Sybil does what Sybil does to all fun little toys they collect. Make it their own. You know, I've actually known Sybil since we were children. They used to take dolls and cut off all their arms and legs and stitch the arms and legs of other dolls onto the bodies of old ones. They've grown out of dolls. They like animals, exotic pets now. And they aren't so grotesque as to harm their animals, but what they do is, I think, show the new friends under their employ, I think, the beauty of what they call violence. I'm not so base as to enjoy such indulgences as Sybil, but I don't interfere in Sybil's business, and they don't interfere in mine.
But in this case, you'd be willing to make an exception for Bud.
I will talk to Sybil.
I awkwardly bow. I don't thank you.
You are very, very welcome.
Much better than a couple of broken automatons.
Yes, much. I would do it myself, send my own agents in to infiltrate the conference beginning tomorrow, but unfortunately, 2 out of 3 consuls actively seek to thwart our efforts. They have a running tally of all major Aurochs operatives. Unfortunately, even the best flesh-changing magic wouldn't be able to hide them from such rigorous inspection, but your group have the benefit of anonymity. And you, Oka, are well liked in the city. You're a hero of the people. You'll be able to walk through the conference with no problem.
Right. No problem at all.
I did, of course, hear about your unfortunate, exploding letter incident. Fame is a double-edged sword, Oka.
I don't know if I would call it fame so much as expectation.
Reputation, then, let's say, as a fair middle ground.
Fine, then. I'll play your champion once again and set things back.
Good. That's all we want. Our interests are aligned, you see. The chrysalis intends to shake things up, take advantage of the cataclysm, whereas we, the Aurochs, merely seek to restore balance to Dabathati, to Talmud, to Andake, no? Just like you? Just like the Alliance of the Eight?
I would not go so far as to call us direct allies. But I fought in these monster pits more times than I care to admit.
I thought I recognized your fighting style from somewhere long, long ago. Well then, let's call ourselves situational friends.
Situational friends it is.
Good. Now, unless there's anything else, I have a date with a manicurist.
Please. And I think the second that she turns away, Oka, who I think still had a hand on Gentle's back, right? And at the second that Lady Saram said that Old Mama Lightning was missing, the hand started to tremble a little bit on Gentle's back. And the second that she turns around, Oka also turns around to like face Gentle really closely, like they're almost like shadowed underneath Gentle, and they bite their knuckle really hard, I think, to keep from yelling. And they just like bite down so much that they like draw blood, and they like okay.
Gentle does just do quiet motions for like steadying Oka's breathing, just to follow along too.
Yeah, and I think, Gentle, you watch as like the blood that kind of was drawn from Oka biting down on their knuckle to keep from kind of crying out starts to like lift off of their skin and almost like float around their face for a moment before Oka kind of like releases their hand and then closes their eyes, and something about them kind of like shifts, and there's this really heady smell of necromancy and grave dirt and rust and blood and power and lightning and storm as Oka literally schools, they force their heartbeat back down. And it almost like becomes clear in their face. And they open their eyes again. We need to go find everyone else.
And on that, we cut back to this seedy, hole-in-the-wall tavern. Geron, you look up at Mercy, who's sort of like peering down at you from one eye patch lady to another, right? Like with like a wrinkle of concern on her face. And she's sort of like leaning over you, right? Like her muscular shadow falling over like the map that you've ceased to draw on. Hey, you okay, kid? Look kind of spaced out there for like 15 minutes. I came in, saw you, thought it'd be funny if I snuck up on you, but you were just sort of staring off into the middle distance, you know what I mean?
I was just thinking, Mercy, what are you doing here? And Jaran like takes off the off of his head and like tries to very casually place it on the map in front of them.
Mercy goes on like unbidden to say, well, I wanted to find you and talk to you. It's about various stuff, and I realized we never said where we were going to reconvene, so I decided to go where Geron would go, which is the shittiest tavern in town, and this is the shittiest tavern in town, so lo and behold, here you are. What were you drawing on?
I have good taste. This is the best tavern in town.
You didn't answer my question.
Sorry, what was your question again?
What were you drawing on? Aren't you supposed to be the smart one, Geron?
I am the smart one, and Jaran tries to like pulls over one of the books that he keeps around with him on like the Paragon War, and turns it around and like shows it to Mercy. And I assume it's got like notes written in the margins from all of the times that Jaran has been reading it and stuff.
You and your gay little quest to save all the Paragons. That's what this is about. Should have known. And Mercy like pulls up a stool and like scoots in like at the table, like rocking the table a little bit as she like puts down a big stein of beer like right next to you, like the foam frothing over. I try to get one of the a glass of what they call the soma things, you know, real good. It's real hallucinogenic, but 50 gold for a little shot glass, tiny little shot glass of one of those.
Watch where you're putting that. And Jaran like scrambles up the chrysalis map and tries to like start folding it up. Watch where you're putting that.
What? It's just beer.
And this is paper. If it gets wet, I will lose all of my research.
Oh, come on. I've got blood and shit and mud and whatever caked all over my documents about monsters and their locations and whatnot. Grow a spine.
And this is why you can never actually use those notes. I've been telling you for ages to get
I don't
a better
need 'em.
system.
I just trust my gut instead, or I get Citlalli to parse my notes for me.
Of course you do. And this is why you get stabbed so often, Mercy.
That was one time. And her hand goes over like her gut where someone stabbed her again. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about Citlalli, and like a kind of like dark look falls over Mercy's face. Puts her elbows on the table and leans in.
You said that you were gonna go check up on her. How are they?
Fine, I presume. They still haven't sent anything to me, sending wise or whatever. I swung by the Queen's Gambit, didn't see them anywhere. I tried not to look too suspicious. I think I pulled it off pretty well, asking after Captain Sybil the Cruel. I did get turned away though, but punched a couple suckers in the face because of it. And then I just started going through the fancy parts of Dabithati, fancy restaurants, fancy taverns, fancy pleasure palaces, looking for Citlalli, followed a little, what I like to call a stink trail, smelling everywhere Sybil's ever been. Didn't find anything. Citlalli-wise, that is. So I assume they've been preoccupied in Sybil's private quarters, which is fine. It's been, 12 hours? It's okay. I've gone for longer. That's not the point.
Mercy, why are you telling me this?
I want to talk to you about Citlalli, okay? It's important.
Okay.
Listen, Geron, grief is funny. Yeah? After Jikyat broke up with me, I keyed her ice cow. I'm not proud of it, but I did. And I feel like maybe, after you lost Oka, you went a little off your rocking chair a little bit. I just wanted to check in.
Mercy, does this have a point?
Yes, the point is I'm worried about you, Jaran, and everything that happened last night clearly has still not been settled, and I want to start to maybe help settle it.
This is weird. Why are you worried about me?
Because you're unwell. Jaran, you are very, very, very unwell. First, you've lost both of your parents, with whom you have had, I think, a great relationship before the Cataclysm, and you just lost both of them, snap, like that. Okay, maybe your relationship wasn't great, but it was better than mine, which was, we saw that when Wu Ming took us through the dream, whatever. First, that's point number one. Evidence Exhibit A for why you're unwell. Exhibit B, the whole Oka shapeshift sex Citlalli thing. That's Exhibit B. Exhibit C, you are now obsessed with trying to stop Oka's prophesized death. Which, listen, I feel I am of two minds of that endeavor, okay? If you can present me with some solid evidence with a plan that will actually work, maybe. Because I don't want to lose Oka either, okay? They're annoying, but they're great. And I get it. And don't tell them I said this, but I do love and care about them very deeply. In a very different way than you, mind you. But that's Exhibit C.
What does that mean?
So A plus B plus C equals you're fucked in the head about all this stuff. And I just want to make sure that you're okay.
Mercy, I'm fine. First of all, the Citlalli thing wasn't just me. Citlalli
oh my god, stop lying to yourself,
and
Geron. You are so annoying. When you say, oh, I'm fine, oh, it's fine. Sleeping with Citlalli just turned into Oka was totally okay. Losing my parents to a boiling lake was totally fine and didn't affect me that bad at all. Losing Oka and then having them back in the same breath was also totally fine. Learning that Oka's prophesized that is also totally okay. You're lying to yourself. You're in denial. I know what denial looks like. Everything is not okay with you.
And I think at that, Geron just kind of takes this big sigh and then puts his head, elbows up on the table, head in his hands. Mercy.
There we go. Yeah, let it out, kid. Let it out.
And look, all of that aside, I can't change any of that, so I'm trying to focus on what I can change.
Geron,
if you want to help Mercy, then maybe you could help me by figuring out this prophecy. Maybe if you want to help me here.
Yeah, for all the fucked up things Jikyat put me through, something she said that's always stuck with me about myself is, Mercy, you don't deal with your problems. You just put them in a box and shove them to the side. What I think's happening with you, Geron, is you're not dealing with your problems either. You're just trying to fix them instead of processing your emotions.
I don't want to think about it, Mercy.
When I didn't think about my emotions, Geron, I went on a rage-fueled, violent explosion where I almost killed the person that killed my family, the monsters who raised me in the chasm. I almost killed him. I beat up all his friends and I destroyed him. That was not okay. I mean, he deserved it, yeah, but that was a real bad way for me to process my emotions and a case study in what happens when you don't.
But you didn't kill him.
Mercy scoots in closer and like lowers like her head to like look at you, like her one good eye like peering at you, right? And like it's almost like the noise of the tavern dies down as she looks at you, like her one tusk peeking out. I was this close to killing him, Jaran. And she raises a hand with like just like a bare millimeter of space between her fingers. I was this close to becoming a murderer. I was this close from an act that would define who I was for the rest of my life, whether I liked it or not. I just don't want you to make the same mistake. I don't want you to go down this road and do something you regret.
So what do you want me to do, Mercy?
Talk
Oka
to me.
is-
Talk to me about how you're feeling, Geron. Talk to me. Listen, when I was 30 years old, I met an old woman on a mountain, actually, in the Godspine. And Mercy starts to launch into, like, a seemingly unrelated, like, anecdote. And as she does, Geron, Mercy, like, you're listening to her at first talk about this woman and hiking through the woods, and you're like, where the hell is the story going? But her, like, voice starts to, like, I think fade out a little bit. And so do the voices of all the other tavern goers. Like, the smoke of, like, you know, various hookahs being puffed on, like, almost seems to, like, sway in front of your, like, vision. And, like, as Mercy goes on, and you're, like, you know, like, trying to focus on her words, you hear a different voice cut in through your head. Adam's voice. Just sort of, like, just creep in again. Just think about it. Geron, just think about it. Think about it. Think about Oka. Think about Oka dying. Think about saving Oka from dying. Think about Oka. Oka dying. Think about it. Oka dying. Oka dying. Killing. Oka dying. Killing Oka. Think about killing Oka. Think about Oka dying. Think about it. Think about Oka dying. Killing. And like, again, it's Mercy's voice who snaps you back, I think, into awareness of your body. And she's going, whoa, Jaran, what? Dude. And as you like everything, like all the noises like come back in like loud and clear, like blaring like truck horns around you. And there's something hard in your right hand. And when you glance down at it, you see Kane's dagger. That you don't know when, you don't know how, that you unsheathed from on your person somewhere. But you're gripping the hilt very, very tightly. And you're sort of like have it half raised, like off the table, almost like pointed vaguely in Mercy's direction. Whoa! Listen, I know I'm kind of long-winded when I tell stories, but it wasn't that bad, right?
Jaran's hand starts shaking, the one that's holding the dagger, and I don't think that they're even looking at Mercy or able to focus on the fact that Mercy's here. I think their eyes are like glued to this dagger and they're confused and they're just looking at it and it's shaking and they kind of like lower their hand. Remember, Mercy's here. I'm talking to somebody. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was telling you an anecdote about processing emotions that I learned from some old hermit in the Godspine, but you okay?
Yeah, sorry, I think there's a lot of smoke in here, I think maybe we should go.
Don't you love smoking? Oka smokes all the time, and you're not bothered by that.
No, I think there's something, and I think they like push back out of their chair. Dagger, I think, still in hand, like I think just like scrambling up like his journal, but like maybe like forgetting a couple of books, like scrambling just out of there, Like he's rushing out.
Whoa, oh, okay, we gotta pay our tab. The fucking, hey, sorry, yeah, yep. And like Mercy like slaps down some bronze pieces like onto the counter and gets up and like rushes after you, like follows you out into the street. As the two of you hustle toward the entrance/exit of this tavern and you bustle the door open, you run into Oka and Gentle. And we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break there. We will be back in 10 with the second part of Arc 5, Episode 5. Enjoy the BRB music. We will see you soon. Spijo, Pijo!
Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, death, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, romance and flirting, references to sexual entanglements, alcohol and smoking, cults and cult-like behaviors, blood and bloodletting, animal violence, curses, compulsive behaviors, and intrusive thoughts.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to Arc 5, Episode 5 of Davatati Session 3. Devour and feed. This is the second stranger. Before we hop right back into things, a reminder of content warnings. They may include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, discussion of death and killing, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, active flirting between PCs and NPCs, romance, kissing, references to sexual entanglement, alcohol and smoking, cults and cult-like behaviors, blood and bloodletting, animal violence, intrusive thoughts, compulsion, and curses. Use !CW in chat for a full list of content warnings at any time, and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils to keep yourselves safe. So with that out of the way, let's hop right back into the session. Geron. You and Mercy stand startled at the threshold of this hole-in-the-wall tavern, almost like colliding into Oka and Gentle, who are on their way in.
Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Hey, perfect. We found you. This is the fucking worst bar in town. I knew you'd be here.
We need to leave. Come on, let's go.
Oh, what?
Geron
Did
is
you
like
piss
trying
off
to
the barkeep
push
or something.
past. No, we need to leave. We need to go right now. Can we go anywhere else, please?
Geron just really doesn't like the hookah flavors, I guess, they have in the smoke in there. It is pretty nauseating, not gonna lie. Those are some low quality.
Mercy, shut up. And Oka kind of like jogs a little bit after Jaran and kind of peeks and sidles up next to them. Hey, what's going on? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. We just let's go to the hotel. And Jaran, I think, goes in like the incorrect direction towards the hotel.
Love, our hotel room exploded. That is also not the way to where the Harpy Hotel is.
Right. Where are we supposed to be staying again? Let's just wherever that is, please. Just let's go there.
Okay. Those books really boggled you.
What?
The books from your studying session?
Books. Right. Yeah. A lot of really new, confusing information. How was
Geron, I'm gonna stop you there. Roll deception. I'm gonna stop you there. And Oka and Gentle, if you want, can roll insight.
I got an 11.
I got a natural 1.
I rolled a 3, but with my math, that makes that a 13. So,
wow.
As always, I catch you.
Oka is blinded by the Jarusi, but Gentle understands that there's something amiss here.
Gentle has been my best friend since childhood, after all. I feel like it makes sense that Gentle would clock me immediately.
Yeah, Jaran, what does Gentle see? That's maybe signaling to them that something's amiss.
I think, obviously Jaran is like kind of panicking a little bit right now. Like they're very flighty, very distracted. And I think the way that Gentle is able to catch that Jaran is not quite being honest, despite the fact that they aren't really able to fully pay attention to this conversation, is the way that when Oka asks about like the books and like how was research, even though they're like kind of looking around all over the place, their eyes linger on Oka's for I think a beat too long before they answer. And you can see in their face this like, they're thinking about like, what do I say? What do I say?
Oka, meanwhile, I think just kind of like softens right? And they reach up and they kind of like stroke your cheek. And you asked about the monster hunting pits. They're covered in like black gore, just kind of down the front of their shirt because they're disgusting and a monster. But they do reach up and kind of like brush a little bit of hair out of Geron's face. Oh, thanks for working so hard. We have some things we need to tell everyone too. We should get back to the secret garden as soon as possible. Mercy, where's Citlalli?
Citlalli's fine. They're still enjoying their date. Prolonged 24-hour date by this point with Sybil. They're okay.
Oka makes this face, and as they turn away from Mercy, they go, well, should you start choosing a new second?
What was that?
Just you seem to forget about your last one so fast. Citlalli's been gone for, 24 hours? I think it's probably time for you to choose a new one.
Excuse me?
What? Did I stutter?
Can we not do this here?
Mercy shoves past Gentle, and like sort of gets up in your face a little bit, Oka, like towering over you, looking down at you and says, "Is there a problem, Oka?"
And Oka holds her gaze. And I think every other time they turned away, grumbled something about there not being a problem. And it's just the perfect collision point right now, right? Just the perfect collision point. They're so fucking stressed out. Yeah, Mercy, I think there is a fucking problem.
Well, are you gonna say it? Or are you gonna keep looking at me like you've got shit shoved up your ass?
Are you serious? Are you kidding me, Mercy?
What?
You told me, Inujad, that I would always have a place with the hounds. You told me that you would wait. You told me to do what I needed to do, and you would be there for me when I came back. And what? I'm gone for a month, and you decide that I've abandoned you? I waited for 7 fucking years, Mercy, to see my family. I waited a lifetime with my soul literally shattered into fucking pieces. But when I leave for a few months trying to make the world safer for the people I love, you throw me to the wind? You find out that I'm supposed to die in the most terrifying way fucking possible, and you don't even wait until I'm in my grave to name a new second? Did I mean nothing to you? You throw it in my face when I'm here again? Like I don't already know that you're gonna forget me when I'm gone? Like I know that I'm not gonna get to go to the after? That I'm gonna die for a world that's not gonna have me? That's my fucking problem, Mercy. Is that I can see everything that I don't get to have. You just shove it in my face. That's my fucking problem.
I think some silence, like a beat of like silence stretches as you're just sort of like panting, and like all the words that have been like pent up inside you, behind your sternum, in front of your heart for like weeks, maybe even longer than that, right? Like come blowing out of you, right? Mercy stands there for that beat, looking at you wordlessly. Like her face, you like, is unreadable, right? She was pissed off at the beginning of your like diatribe, but like toward the end of it, like her like angry lines have like just sort of hardened into this like unreadable expression, right? And then like without a word, she steps forward and she hugs you.
And Oka's shoulders kind of shake, I think, as they start to cry, just like against her chest. Captain de Vernier is kidnapped by the Chrysalis, and they're gonna kill her. Mercy, they're gonna kill her.
What do you mean they're gonna kill her? Wait, she's with the Chrysalis? Wait, but why haven't they killed her already? Why? The conference. You don't think they're... Oka. And Mercy, like, releases you from the hug, right? And says, when Gentle and Citlalli and I stopped to talk to that Chrysalis, tiefling, grace, whatever. She mentioned something about a miracle that they were planning to unveil or something during the conference. Do you think that's related to Old Mama Lightning?
What better and brighter miracle to prove their power to all of Dabathati and all of Andake after hearing about the alliance of the Eight than to kill a paragon in front of everyone. And Oka is shaking still a little bit, and there are these thick golden tears running down their face. And they look small and scared.
There are too many eyes and ears here. Let's continue this conversation in the secret garden.
I think at the mention of Old Mama Lightning being kidnapped by the Chrysalis, Geron's attention had kind of been caught by the conversation that was being had, and not wanting to intervene in clearly something that is important going on between Mercy and Oka, they just pulled their dupatta back over their face and like covered it and like continued walking.
Gentle, I think with your higher insight roll than Geron's deception, you're the only one who notices that.
I think I keep up with Jaran. I at least know. I'd assume everyone would go meet up at the secret garden anyway, so I could help guide Jaran back there if he's having issues figuring out where to go. Hey, Jaran?
Yes, Gentle.
Are you okay?
Geron responds in Morosi, I think. No, but I will be. Come on, we need to get out of here. Let's go.
I respond in Morosi. Do you want to try to get to the garden first so we can talk through what is going on?
Sure, just anything that will just get us out of here, get us somewhere just else. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I'll lead the way.
And I think as the two of you peel off ahead of Mercy and Oka, we actually push back through the crowd, the evening crowd, I think, like, to find Mercy and Oka again. And, like, as Mercy, like, you know, has been talking with you, looking at you, she just goes, Oka, listen, what you said earlier about being replaced, me not waiting, I'm sorry. It was never my intention to replace you. We all thought you were dead, okay? Well, they thought you were dead. I knew better. But there was a part of me... There was a part of me that was worried you wouldn't come back. Okay, that you'd gone off to heed some greater destiny than just Mercy and the Hounds and our little small-time monster hunting ragtag group. I don't know, Oka, in Nujad, there was something in your eyes, something in your face, and the people you were with that just seemed so much bigger than catching bulettes. Know what I mean? I was worried you wouldn't come back.
Mercy, what's the fucking point of doing something greater if at the end of it I don't get to catch bulettes?
You were an incredible second. But you're not my second anymore. Not because I tried to replace you immediately after you left, but because the world needs something else from you right now, Oka. The world doesn't need Oka Hye, second to Mercy and the Hounds of Mercy. The world needs Prince Oka Hyen, Paragon of Sen, Savior of Andake, okay?
Fine. You're right. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'd be pissed if I were you, too. But for what it's worth, I waited a long time before naming a second. To the extent that Jaran, Citlalli, and Gentle, maybe not Gentle, but Citlalli, of course, was getting very, very annoyed and frustrated. I wasn't ready to let you go yet. So if it matters, if it's worth anything, I waited.
Thanks, Mercy. But if I'm not your second, then we need to find your actual second.
Right. And on that, I think we cut to the secret garden. Amid all the foliage, the blooming petals in full summer, despite it being deep winter at this point, the cawing of birds, the glimmering beaks of toucans, the cracking of nuts under jaws, and the scrabbling of insects and animals in the underbrush, the gurgling of a low brook. We push through the fronds of petals and whatnot to find Jaran and Gentle, traipsing your way through this garden to find your, I think, resting spot again. You beat Oka and Mercy here. What do the two of you do?
If I may, I think if Geron and Gentle are going to talk in the secret garden, I think Geron would have gone to the pond that is in the middle of this secret garden, would have rolled up his pants, put his legs inside of the pond, and just lied down on the grass.
I think I've just been quietly healing and all the bruises I have away from the fight. And I think once again, my hair is down, my mask is off. I've washed my face, and I am also just laying down. And I don't know, I feel small again, but not in a bad way, just comfortable.
Gentle, I don't know what to do, Gentle.
Do you want to start at the beginning of everything that's got you troubled? And I think I also hand you the balm I made earlier for the anxiety that we saved a little for myself and gave to Oka.
I think Geron is just kind of moving this balm from hand to hand, just distractedly playing with it instead of putting it on. And this entire conversation, I imagine, is happening in Morosi. At the beginning, I don't even know what that is. All I can think about is Oka. And nobody seems to be thinking about the same thing. I need to know what to do, Gentle. I need to know how to not feel this way. It's like they're already dead, Gentle, and every day I just watch them dig their grave deeper and deeper, and nobody seems to care.
For what it's worth, I care, and I know I don't necessarily say a lot of my feelings, but I've believed that Oka will get through this the entire time. And maybe I should have said it louder, but Oka's stubborn and really strong and really good at what they do, and plus I know how ambitious and headstrong you are about seeing through goals you want to accomplish. So if there's anyone who can help save Oka, it's you. And if there's anything I can do to help, I will.
Help. It's Oka's stubbornness that worries me. They're stubborn, but this time, for some reason, they seem to be stubborn about letting the gods rip them apart piece by piece. For what?
For you? For me? For everyone?
What good will it do, Gentle, if they save Andake and they're not even here to see it?
If I was a paragon, I would probably do the exact same thing. I
think Jaran shoots you a look at that.
By which I mean, certain things can feel a lot bigger than you. And when you're told of a prophecy and you see dreams that not many other people can see, that's a hard feeling to shake off. It feels inevitable. And I believe that not everything's set in stone, but I can understand why someone would feel chained to fate, as it were.
Geron holds out a hand for Gentle.
I take it.
Do you want to help, Gentle? You said you don't believe that things are set in stone. Will you help me change? Change fate, change prophecy.
I'll do what I can.
Can you keep Oka away from the chrysalis?
That's not the easiest thing in the world. Considering we just had a talk, and in order to clear some debts Oka has, and to help save Bud, Oka may have promised the head of Adam.
I think Geron scrambles up hearing that, and like his hair is just kind of like all wild from having like been lying down. And there is this desperation in his eyes as he looks at you. And you kind of see for a moment like the kid that you knew back in Morose when we were young, when we were friends. And Geron was in trouble because they were always getting into trouble in Morose. And you see a little bit of that same child as they look at you. No. There has to be another way that Oka can pay back that debt. I can help figure that out. Please, Gentle. Will you help me?
Can I ask a question first?
Of course.
What happened earlier today? I know when you talked about the books, you did that thing you used to do as a little kid, where most people can't tell, but I've known you long enough, and I think you may have been keeping something under wraps a little bit.
I was doing research, Gentle, that I didn't lie about. Just, I think Jaran, like, sitting there, trying to think, how much do I tell Gentle? Because I think at the same time, like, they don't want to lie to Gentle, but they also don't want to rope Gentle into whatever is happening here, because it's dangerous, and he cares about Gentle. So he's kind of like wrestling with that for a moment. I was doing research. I was just looking into the chrysalis. Since they work with the stranger, I figured that they're important to the prophecy, to figuring out exactly how we can save Oka. I just didn't want to tell them because, well...
Yeah. Did you find anything good?
Depends on your definition of good.
Anything useful?
I think so. You have to just trust me on this one, Gentle. Please.
Can
All
I
it'll
ask
take
another
is-
question?
What is it?
Did you tell me if you were in over your head?
If I thought I was in over my head, I would tell you.
Promise me you'll be safe.
I'm always safe, Gentle.
Now, Tron, which one of us had to patch the other one up all the time?
Okay, but you know, some of us were better at herbalism than others. That's not the point here right now, Gentle. I just need everyone to stay away from the chrysalis as much as possible. I know we can't keep Oka far away necessarily, but if we could just waylay them a little bit.
Keep Oka away from what? And sort of like traipsing, like crunch, 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 like through the underbrush, like ducking underneath a branch and pushing like a big flower out of the way is Mercy, and Oka.
I thought you didn't speak Morosi, Mercy.
Why does everyone think I don't speak Morosi? One of my exes is Morosi Jikyat. She taught me a few choice phrases. Star, stay away, love, fuck, sex. And she goes on to like list like more and more explicit words, right?
Stay away from you, Mercy. And Geron like splashes some of the pond water.
Ah.
Don't waste too much of the pond water. I need to use that. Okay, I did this, and I think Oka just is immediately there and just starts setting stuff up. Like they're like moving stuff away from where the like tents were all set up yesterday, and they're like trying to make a space, I think, for something. And they like go to their bag and they like pull out this little like pouch of stuff, right? And they're just kind of like moving around a little frantically around the space.
Okay, as you do that, like Mercy's just sort of like crossing her arms. She's just saying, I told you they can use sending at any moment to let me know if they're in trouble. Also, they literally can't be surprised anymore. I don't know how they learned to do that. I don't know when they learned to do that, but the other day I was trying to sneak up on Citlalli, surprise her with a little kiss on the back of her neck, and she turned around and almost blighted me into the seven hells and back.
Yeah, Mercy, and I've told you that any date with a questionable, morally gray ex that lasts over 18 hours is 9 times out of 10 a death threat. I learned this from you. Okay, Citlalli is in trouble. We got sent an exploding letter on our first day here.
Okay, fine. And for the record, that date I was referencing with Selim lasted 29 hours,
And we had to come rescue you from that one too, Mercy.
I was fine. It was fine. She was fine. It was all fine. Are you done doing your blood thing?
I haven't started doing my blood thing.
I'm not a blood mage. I don't know. And like Mercy like leans
Stand
against
back.
like a tree. Yeah, she like leans against a tree and like reaches up, grabs like a huge like coconut and like cracks it open against the side of her skull, right? And like starts to sort of like drinking it.
Fucking queen. Okay. Oka has kind of like cleared out this space, and they litter like from this pouch that they didn't have before, like what look like little fragments, like shards of bone, that they kind of just like put in a circle around them. They're like, I did this with a wall last time, and for some fucking reason, V gave old Mama Lightning a vial of her blood when we were in Nabal. Weird, but I can track her with that because I'm so. And Oka kind of gets this weird look in their face. I know what it's. I can still taste it from there.
All right. Calm down there, Bloodhound.
That's maybe more accurate than you think it is. Just let me do something real quick. Well, actually, Oka looks at Mercy and is like, "You seriously don't have like even a little bit of their blood?
Of Citlalli's blood?
Yeah.
I keep a lock of their hair with me, but not blood. Can you do hair magic?
No, I can't do hair magic. What do I look like, a hair magician? That's not part of the divine triptych, Mercy. Blood. Or bone.
No. Bone. Ew, what, like their bone? I've got like bones they carry around, but I don't think they're part of their body.
You have bones they carry around.
Yeah.
Why didn't you fucking say so? Give them.
What, will that help? And like Mercy rummages through her pack and pulls out a couple of like maybe like prayer bones or something that look very Citlalli-like and like hand them over.
Of course it'll help, Mercy. And Oka snatches them and kind of like puts them around, like in a circle closer around themselves. And then they kind of stand there for a moment. And their eyes close, and just like this thick bead of blood just drips from their nose. And anytime they had done any kind of blood magic, they would have had to bloodlet. Like they would usually just like prick their palm. But this, they don't even do that. And again, the same kind of like wafting smell just like rolls off of them. And the weave just gets really, really tight and really languid. Like it too kind of like turns liquidous. As I'm going to try to pull up the marrow from Citlalli's prayer bones, from inside of the bone. Pull that up. Use all of my knowledge about mind linking with Citlalli to try to use a brand of tethering to find out where they are.
Are you specifically trying to find Citlalli or Old Mama Lightning?
Citlalli first.
Okay. Roll Arcana.
25.
Describe to me what it feels like physically when you're sort of shunted out of your body, right? And like have an out-of-body experience.
It is very similar to in the room in Sulong when Oka like drew that like symbol in blood like on the wall and kind of like literally punted across, where they can like follow the smell and the specific like tension, I think, that like is specific to Citlalli's heartbeat. Right, like they are so familiar with the way that each of the hounds' heartbeat sounds that they are literally trying to pick it out of all of Dabathati, where they like actually everything just kind of goes quiet and they're listening for it, and then like once they're there, they try to find it that way.
Okay, with a 25, not only are you able to ascertain where Citlalli is for like a split second, but I think you like see through their eyes for like 2 seconds. Okay, for like, actually, give me one roll on your Hemocraft die.
Ooh, that's a D10 now. So a D8, a 1.
For 1 second. You see through Citlalli's eyes for 1 second. And as your vision is shunted out through the top of your head, what happened with Old Mama Lightning is you sort of like soared through like a marketplace, you like went through Dabathati's streets to sort of find her, and it was almost like she turned to see you, and then you were like shunted back into your body. This is different. There's no flash of color, no hubbub of sound, no explosion of smell and touch and feel. There's just immediately and oppressively darkness. Not even darkness, but absence. Void. Emptiness. Nothing at all. Zilch. Zero. Nada. Almost like you're just sort of like suspended in the gaps between space. And then you feel and smell and see, like, around you, sort of crystalline. Innately you feel protecting you. These, like, crenellations of black glass. Almost like you're a bird trapped in, like, a pretty little glass cage made of pure black material. Rising up all around you, sort of forming a bubble, a pocket, in the middle of this nothingness, in the middle of this empty black. And across from you, Oka, seeing through Citlalli's eyes, is Old Mama Lightning, sitting on the floor of this black glass, arms, like, crossed around her body, legs crossed as well. She has, like, a tea out in front of her and is, like, sipping it. And you see this, like, very plain, average-looking old woman. Like, if you didn't know if you hadn't seen her before, she would have just looked like someone's random, like, nai-nai, like, in the street just shopping for vegetables. Completely unremarkable. Silver hair, she's fat, she's got just, like, leather cloth armor on, like, tied up in a bun. She takes a sip of this tea, and in the 1 second that you see her, Citlalli/Oka, she looks up. And you see these, like, gray-brown eyes peering through these, like, fallen bangs. The side of her mouth quirks, and she cocks her head to the side and goes, "Vinash?" And then, Oka, poof, you're expelled back into your own body.
Oka reels backward, I think. And I think as they were doing this, the blood, like the marrow from the bones around them, all of the bones, had kind of like come, like risen up out of the bones and hovered in this like circle around them that kind of like shimmered almost like a river, kind of like the River of Fate in Sulong, but it's like made of blood. And I think all of it just drops and like splatters to the ground as Oka stumbles back, and they're like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. Citlalli, fuck! I was right, Mercy!
What? What did you see? What happened? What's going on?
Nothing.
Then why are you so freaked out?
The nothing. The empty. Citlalli was in the empty.
What?
That's possible?
As you disclose this, Oka, like, I think your mind's still reeling with images, that feeling of that pervasive, just like, not even darkness, because even darkness has mass. Darkness has volume, darkness has shape and energy and smell. It was just void, right? It's just absolutely nothing. Emptiness, vacuum. That sensation still sort of prickles at, like, the edges of your skin. And you also remember, like, those silvery bangs, those eyes as Old Mama Lightning looked up at you, and you remember those eyes looked brownish silver, but they were flecked with two different colors, gold and black. Little gold flecks in one eye and black flecks in the other.
Are you shitting me? Oh.
Would you like to roll religion to maybe parse what the fuck was happening in your vision?
19. Love to have a +10 to religion.
So in that, you had, 1 second was all you got. But in the 1 second, I mean, black usually represents Sraksha in the 3 heads of Virabhati, and gold represents Dristi. And the black glass sort of like flowering in like a dome around Old Mama Lightning and Citlalli, almost resembling like a lotus petal, like a lotus flower or a peach closed up, almost seemed like Saraksha's presence, like protecting Old Mama Lightning and Citlalli, like doming them off from the hungry nothing.
How the fuck did Citlalli get into the empty plane?
Wait, but if they're in the empty, are they okay? Didn't V get ripped
fucking
apart?
fell apart
there?
and had those like
No,
colorful
they're
stitches.
still there.
What?
They're still there.
What?
How?
Saraksha.
Huh? What? Huh?
Old Mama Lightning has Saraksha. It's not just Vanash, they have Saraksha and Thristi. The other 2 heads, the other 2 echoes of the heads, they're still there. Old Mama Lightning was there too. I could see through Citlalli's eyes, their heartbeat. They're still alive. They're still alive.
Are they okay? Are they hurt? Is anything wrong with them? Are they
I had
injured?
1 second.
Well, do it again. Do it again. Now. Oka, now. Can we talk to Citlalli? Can we reach them? Can we contact them?
Fuck. And Oka kind of looks at the bones and the blood.
The bone has been spent to cast the spell. Like the marrow has sort of like ribboned itself up and it disappeared into nothingness.
This is why I asked for blood. All of you are giving me a vial of your blood at your earliest convenience.
Fuck, I don't have anything else of Citlalli's. Are you sure hair won't work?
I'm a very bad flesh magician. Just give it to me and I'll see. Gentle?
I mean, maybe the Chrysalis has them if they have Old Mama Lightning too.
You're right. Fuck, Gentle, you're right. The Chrysalis. We're fucking, come on, Hounds, let's go. Let's grab everything. We need weapons. We're gonna fucking storm into their goddamn headquarters, bum rush their
the
fucking...
heal
Mercy, I
first?
think we need a plan before we just storm
Our
into...
plan is to kick ass. We have a fucking paragon with us. We've got Gentle who can run on water, and you.
And they have
and
a
me.
paragon in the empty plane. You don't think that Oka might be in danger here?
Citlalli is directly, immediately, right now in danger. We have to go.
Yes. And we need a plan in order to save them so that we don't end up just like them.
You... now is not the time for your fucking cowardice, Geron.
Mercy.
What? Oka, come on, you of all people know, you know what the Chrysalis are capable of. Citlalli at any moment could hurt her, or worse.
They're not gonna hurt Citlalli.
How do you know that?
Yet. Not yet. Because they're smart. Killing Citlalli now would give them no power over us. Do you remember why I asked you to leave the palace when you came to find me in Sulong? Because each and every one of you are leverage against me. They're using Citlalli as leverage. They would not kill her now.
But they could do something terrible to them. Like, I don't know, take away their magic? Or make them into one of those monsters?
We won't let them. We won't let them. But we need to be smart about it, Mercy. We can't just go in sword swinging. We need a plan.
Like a look of intense pain comes over Mercy's face as they like scrunch up their like expression and like consider all of this, like their left hand clenched in a fist so hard that by the time they like unclench their like whitened knuckles, all of you see like little pinpricks of blood in their palm from where Mercy was digging into her own hand. Fine. We come up with a plan to save Citlalli and Old Mama Lightning. But if something's wrong with Citlalli, or if they kill her before we can save them, or if we fail to save them because we waited too long, then their blood and like Mercy strides up to you, Geron, is in your hands.
Mercy, that won't happen. I won't let it happen. We all care about Citlalli, Mercy. She won't die.
Fine. What's the plan?
There was already going to be the
miracles.
conference.
You're right, Gentle. What better miracle than pulling someone out of the empty? They're going to use Citlalli as leverage. But they don't know that we know. And if we know, we have power. We won't be surprised.
Okay. The conference. That Adam prick's gonna be there, right? What if we captured him? Before the miracles are supposed to go off and, and she, like, cracks her knuckles. Convinced him to let Citlalli and old Mama Lightning go.
I don't think that'll be as easy as you're making it sound, Mercy. I think in order to get in, we need to, like Oka said, they don't know that we know. We need to be sneaky about it. We can pretend that we're attending the conference. That'll at least give us access to all of their talks, exhibitions, whatever they have planned, and then we can get up close and personal with Citlalli, grab her before they have a chance to do whatever it is that they're planning.
Okay, fine, but we need more than just, we're down one. We need someone else. I'll talk to Ravi. I'll get her to come in. It'll be good to have her on our side. She is a very good fighter. Yes, Gentle.
I also have a little bit of magic stuff, like a fog cloud, wall of water. It might help at least buy us time if we need quick getaways.
I appreciate that a lot, Gentle.
I can fly.
Yeah. This is a total sidebar, but can you magic nerds come up with better words for your spells than fog cloud, wall of water? I'd call it something like destructive cloud of the ninth heaven. Erupt. Isn't that cooler? Anyway, sorry. I'm freaking out, okay? I need... Yes, that sounds wonderful. Thank you, Gentle.
Citlalli's gonna be okay.
You can't promise that, Jaran, but make damn sure it happens. Because if we lose her, and like Mercy can't even finish that sentence.
Don't talk like that. That's how we come back for each other every time.
Yeah, you're right. We do. No hound left behind. Okay then. We go undercover at the conference. Sneak in, we attend their... What's even gonna happen at this conference? What, they're gonna have a concert? They're gonna have exhibition booths about what? How to create people eating monsters?
Grace seemed very focused on showing the way the chrysalis could provide in the ways that the 8 can't anymore. So maybe miracles, a lot of just divine power. I think they're trying to gain from belief.
Their power is a falsehood. It comes from nothing. It's all lies. All of it is lies. Like a web, like a fucking spider.
The fucking cost of it is souls, too. I mean, we all know. We've dissected enough of these monsters to see what's inside of them.
It might come from nothing, but power is still power, and they clearly have it and are using it. So let's not underestimate them.
Yeah. It's gonna take every ounce of willpower not to just go up on that stage that Adam's on and sock him in the face as soon as he comes out. You're gonna have to hold me back, Oka.
I can do that. You will get to punch him, though.
Good.
But they are not to be underestimated.
I know.
You all found me just in time. There's divinity in that. We'll get to Citlalli in time.
Well, Citlalli's not like you, Oka. They don't have the gods looking out for them. It's just us. Fate hasn't exactly chosen her.
Yeah, but I've chosen you all.
Let's hope it's enough. And like Mercy lets out like a huge sigh that just like balloons all the energy like out of her tense shoulders and great 8, I'm tired. All right, it's getting late. Yes, Gentle.
Would I offer a little bit of the anxiety balm to Mercy as well. This might help a little.
Fuck it, yeah, just hand it over. And like Mercy holds out her palm. She takes a big scoop of like the balm and just eats it. This is pretty good. It's anxiety reducing, right?
It's meant to be more of a topical situation, but I suppose that can work.
Topical? What, is it controversial in some way?
No, you put it on your like face or like on your skin.
That's not the right word for that, Gentle. Topical? Yeah, I mean something else.
Okay.
What'd you put in this, honey? It's pretty good.
I mean, I have the recipe written down, but we can talk about that later.
Thank you, Gentle. I feel better already. And Mercy starts like putting out bedrolls, I think, and like setting up the tent again. With that, Oka, Jaran, and Gentle, the three of you as well as Mercy, head off to bed, I think. I have to know, because Jaran, your mind space is a little interfered, I think. Do you still snuggle with Oka that night?
I do. I think Geron, because they can't shake this weird feeling of anxiety and like dread, I think is the best way to put it. Like there's this constant gnawing feeling like Oka, like that repeating through line of like, think about Oka dying, Oka's dead, is like going through his mind. And I think the only way that they can think of to really try and quell some of that anxiety is to be next to Oka, is to be near them.
Okay. I like that reasoning. I have inspiration. So Geron, as you're snuggled up next to Oka that evening, right, and the last of the starless light filters away, giving way to just like almost complete darkness here in the private garden, save for a couple of like magical orbs of light like floating amongst the bushes, you all drift off into an uneasy slumber, and one of you has a nightmare. Actually, two of you have nightmares. One of you is Oka, and I think your nightmare is, in comparison to the other one, almost par for the course. Crimson, sundered battlefield, sky filled with eyes and blood and wings, huge globules of monster-making mush sloughing off from the sky onto the ground, splattering across this torn-up field, the chasm yawning wide. This uneasy rest roils through your mindscape, Oka, and I think we actually pull out of the nightmare you're having to sort of see you maybe like twitching a little bit, like subconsciously in your sleep, maybe like even like muttering a little bit in the back of your throat. We're gonna push past you to Geron, who you're snuggled up next to. We also see Geron's face convulsing a little bit, and we see the nightmare that Geron's having, which is just think about it, Geron, says Adam's voice, repeating and layering itself over and over and over again in your head. Just think about it. Just to think about saving Oka from dying. Think about Oka dying. Think about Oka dying. Oka being killed by the Paragon Killer. And then you see a flash of an image, this masked menace, hooded leather cowl up, golden chisel in hand, driving it through the center of Oka's chest, Oka's eyes flung wide open, that one red bolt of Vinash growing dull as life leeches away from Oka's head, and their souls threaded through that golden chisel. Think of Oka dying. And you see another version of Oka's death, them cracking through the air, their wings spread out, shattering, losing feathers like icicles falling out of the sky. The final bastion of their organic wings finally returning to those ghostly, translucent wings from earlier as they lose the final piece of their soul out of their body. Their wings crack and they splinter. Think of Oka dying, now in flame, encased in roiling black tongues of fire eating them up. Oka turning, their double-pupiled gaze staring across this sundered, bloodied, wrapped up in black, licking, hungry jaws of flame. You see their eye piercing through the smoke before the smoke wafts up and swallows them up. Think of Oka dying. Think of Oka being killed, again being stabbed, but this time, it's you. In front of Oka, Kane's dagger in hand, spearing them through that knot of scar tissue on their solar plexus. Their eyes blown wide, pupils huge, staring at you, a look of crumpled betrayal shattering across their face. And Jaran, you along with Oka, wake up at 8 a.m. sharp. Except this time, Geron, you have moved around in your sleep so that you've turned around to face Oka. Kane's dagger is heavy and cold in your hand, and the tip of it is pointed at Oka's chest.
Oh, what are you sleeping with your dagger out for?
I didn't
Ow.
think I was. I'm sorry. Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just and Oka just kind of like thumbs over the wound, and the bleeding like is staunched immediately. Jaran, I know you must be worried about Citlalli, but weaponry in bed is for more fun days.
And I think Jaran's like breathing is really heavy at this point, and like you can see that they're kind of starting to shake a little bit, and they almost like scramble away from you. Not getting up, but like still lying down, but trying to put some distance between the two of you. Staring at this dagger that still has, I think, like a little bit of your blood running down the obsidian blade.
Jaran, are you okay?
No, yeah, just stay back, please.
What? What are you talking about? No, come.
No.
Jaran.
And Geron like scrambles up to sit up and like starts to move away.
Oka like pauses, and they look this really kind of like baffled expression. They've been too many like thoughts have been happening in their face as the nightmare flies away, and now like this is also confusing, and they're still kind of waking up, and they're a little groggy, and they're like looking at you like, what? What?
Yeah, I think I had a bad dream. That's all. I need some time. That's all.
And Oka looks Jaran up and down. Is this about Citlalli?
In a way, I guess it's about dying. Death.
I get it. Why would you want to be with a ghost?
What?
Nothing. And Oka kind of turns away.
I think Geron is still kind of like reeling from basically having like stabbed Oka just a little bit in their sleep, and so they're like trying to process like what Oka is saying, but also at the same time is very distracted by this constant like reel going on in his head. And he like looks down at the dagger, looks at the blood still running down it, like puts it down next to him, and then crawls closer to Oka just a little bit and puts a hand on their shoulder. Oka, what's wrong?
What's wrong is that you looked... I've never seen you look at me like that, Jaran.
It was just a bad dream, Oka, that's all. It's a nightmare that'll be over soon. I promise.
It's not going to be over for me. Do you get that?
It will be over for you, Oka. That's what I've been trying to do this whole time. Don't you see that? That everything that I'm doing is for you, is to save your life.
Do you really think you can?
I know that I can. Do you not want me to?
I've seen what happens, Jaran, when your heart gets broken. Citlalli, gods know what else. All the things you wrote in those letters. You fall far when you're that sure of something.
So then don't break my heart, Oka. Don't let me be wrong.
And Oka just kind of shakes their head. It's way too early to be having this conversation.
You're right. I gotta get some air, he says as we are outside. And they will take one last look at you, kind of maybe go as if they were going to say something, think better of it, shake their head, and grab the Cain's blade on their way out, and then go to, I think, like, go to the pond and start washing the blood off of the blade. And I think as they're doing that, they can't help but, like, mumble to themselves, basically that mantra of, like, think about Oka dying, Oka died, Oka's dead, Oka died. And they're just kind of, like, there, like, quietly mumbling to themselves, cleaning this dagger.
Oof. I think it's around then that Gentle. I think, like, you and Mercy are also, like, getting up and at them around this time. So, like, what's your morning ritual like, and do you overhear any of this or see any of this?
How loud were they being?
Oka's not the king of subtlety.
I think Jaran was too panicked to try and keep their voice down.
I think Gentle's naturally an early riser, so I would not be shocked if I heard a decent amount of that. Especially if I see, just sort of peek and see Geron just wiping the dagger clean. I think I might just kind of sidle up and just sit next to him and... Geron, it's Gentle.
Hi, Gentle. Good morning.
Morning. What's going on?
Just a bad dream. Just a bad dream. Just a nightmare. That's all. That's all.
You're cleaning the dagger?
I shouldn't have slept with it. I don't know why I did. I should have put it away in my bag before I slept. I will put it away in my bag before I sleep tonight.
If John allows me, I put my hand on your shoulder and with like a gentle air of the healing hand, just to like give you a very calming sense. You can talk to me whenever you need to. I won't force anything, but if you're in over your head, please talk to me.
Thank you, Gentle. I will. I will. I will.
I nod, but I think it's a very sad nod of, okay, Jaran's gonna need some time to realize he's in over his head.
At this point, all of you hear Mercy's voice not come from, like, near you in the grove, but from beyond it, almost like by the boundary of the grove, sort of shouting like, hey, no! Get out of here, this area is off limits, this is not conference area, it's wherever the fuck else that's not here, just fuck off. And you also all hear, like, a group of, like, very offended sounding people, like, murmur, like, oh, dear gods, you know, and, like, the sound of footsteps, like, departing this area. And, like, a few moments later, there's, like, stomp, like, twigs snapping, and then Mercy comes back in, and she looks like she's been up for hours. Like, maybe you're even, like, did she even sleep? Like, her hair's, like, up, like, she's fully dressed and has, like, her greatsword, like, strapped to her back already. She looks, like, ready to go. She just sees you all and says, good, you're finally up. They're here. The Chrysalis. With their conference, and with all of the thousands of sheep frickin'
Grass is what they call them.
grass. It's a weird thing to call your followers.
Yeah, it's because they feed the grass to, you know, the chrysalis. The Imigo. I don't know.
That is a fucked up way of thinking about your audience.
I don't know what part of death cults trying to kill the paragons and come about this, you know, bring the stranger to Andake I wasn't clear about before. I've said this several times now.
And I've believed you every time you've said it, Oka. It's now or never. We have to go. They're setting up booths. I scouted ahead while y'all were sleeping. They started coming in around 5 a.m. just setting things up. There are hundreds, if not at least 1,000 people pouring into the Senate House already. Looks like there's a main stage in the center of everything. Yes, Gentle.
Maybe we don't want to start watching them set up. It'll only make it seem more of a concern if we show up at the event.
They already know we're here. They sent a fucking bomb letter to where we were sleeping. They know we're here, we know they know we're here, but they don't know that we know where they're keeping Citlalli and Old Mama Lightning.
They knew Oka was here.
And they saw, I mean, Oka's been traveling with us, right? And they were able to kidnap Citlalli, so clearly they know that Citlalli is related to Oka. And if they know Citlalli's related to Oka, they know I'm related to Citlalli, and that the two of you, as she gestures to Jaran and Gentle, are related to me, which is related to Oka, okay?
Maybe, but Citlalli can shapeshift and is a good liar. So
yeah, and Citlalli was not supposed to be able to be surprised, but they still were, apparently, and now they're in the nothing plane. And she like sort of says that in like a stage whisper. So, y'all are the ones telling me not to underestimate the chrysalis. I'm just saying, they already know we're here. We might as well just go and try to act natural.
Mercy, you're really, really bad at acting natural. Are you trying it now?
I can do it if Citlalli's life is on the line, okay? Watch. And Mercy is gonna just sort of straighten up, and I'm gonna have her roll performance with advantage because of love. That was a 4. That was an 8. So she like moves her shoulders around, like crosses her arms, and looks very stiff and awkward. See? Perfectly natural. She slowly sticks a leg out.
That's better.
Like straight out. Like raises it into the air in front of her.
Yeah, that's much better.
See? Master of deception I am.
Okay, don't resist this. And Mercy is just gonna feel the beating of her heart literally get pulled back into rhythm. Like, this like, and Oka they don't even really move, I think. They just kind of tilt their head a little bit, and they get this like focused expression on their face, and they school it back down to like a steady rhythm instead of a anxious one. I'm reverse engineering my my blood curse of the anxious, in fact.
Oh, that is a very weird sensation. And then all of you all hear another voice chime in. You really shouldn't do that without asking permission, Oka. And sort of like also pushing like past like the leaves is Ravi. Coming in, she does not appear to be armed, but her sleeves are rolled all the way up to reveal like these like thick black tattoos of weapons, like etched down both of her red arms. She's got like gruff, stiff, padded, and studded leather armor on, and she nods at Mercy and at you, Oka.
Well, you saw her. She's like a sad, anxious puppy.
Puppy? I'd say bull rhino. What? No, puppies are a lot cuter. That is not a word I would use to describe you, Mercy. Citlalli would disagree. Speaking of which, we have a Citlalli to rescue and a paragon or whatever. Should we get going?
Before we go in, we should probably find some chrysalis garb to put on to help us blend in more.
Way ahead of you. And Ravi like throws a sack forward, and like the sack spills open to reveal like chrysalis shawls and robes and memorabilia and like things you can just like wrap up like over your head and like cover your face and whatnot. And she just goes, "There's a ton of those shitty recruitment officers near the mines all the time. I figured they wouldn't miss an extra sack of clothes."
I'm not wearing those.
Okay, it'll help.
Oka frowns, folds their arms, and then vanishes.
That's new.
Geron is gonna grab one of the shawls from the ground and throw it in Oka's direction.
Yeah, it just lands kind of over this Oka-shaped silhouette.
You're too easy to notice. This will help.
Putting me in green, and I think they take the shawl off, and when they do, they also come kind of like back into existence. Putting me in green isn't gonna make me any less noticeable. I'm a drow with 2 pupils in each eye and very noticeable scars and tattoos. They're gonna know who I am, and they kind of like throw the chrysalis garb on the ground. I am not going to further cement the heroes of Dabathati being in support of the chrysalis.
Oka has a point. The rest of us can go in disguise, but Oka, you should stay invisible. Just stay near us.
I can wait up on the balconies, up here, watch through the windows for a while.
All right. Remember the bird calls? I taught you. And Ravi turns to Mercy. And then Ravi makes like she raises both like grizzled hands up to her like scarred mouth and makes a very convincing like trilling bird noise that sounds like it's coming from 500 feet behind you. We'll use that to communicate.
Oka tries to replicate it, and I think it just kind of sounds like a long, high-pitched fart.
Oka. Ew.
I can't do it with my mouth!
Geron will perfectly mimic it. Right back at Ravi.
Hey, look at that. This protege's got promise, Mercy. Well, of course, all of the hounds have exceptional promise. I mean, one of us is even a frickin' paragon.
I think as Mercy just talks about all of her shining qualities, I simply fashion one into a belt and then just just get a scarf. That's it.
Okay. Dozens of people filter into the Senate House by the minute. By the time it's noon and the main events start, this place is gonna be packed. We ready?
As ready as we'll ever be.
All right. Then, hounds. Let's fucking blow up this conference, huh?
Mercy, keep your heart rate down.
Ravi nods, and she grabs like a chrysalis robe and just sort of shrugs it on and like pulls the hood over her head to disguise herself. And she turns, and so does Mercy. And leading your group, these two women, these exes, stride side by side, like out of the secret grove and out into the open of the Senate House. That is where we're going to end this session for today. It's been Arc 5, Episode 5 of The Second Stranger. Wowza! So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Make sure to tune in 2 weeks for the continuation of this particular storyline, but to tune in next week for the continuation of the Kirtal storyline. I've been your GM and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on TikTok and Twitter and Ko-Fi at by Connie Chang. Gonna pass along introductions to Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare. Deeply anxious for what's going to happen next week. Pronouns she, they, Neo. You can find me on Twitter and everywhere at Dare to Dream RPG. Once again, DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. Yeah, I do a lot of things, so you can just follow me all there. I'm just going to throw this to Hamna.
Hello, everyone. My name's Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I'm a TTRPG performer. Today I have been Jaran Gather, who uses they, he pronouns, your resident boyfriend killer. Yay. Anyway, if you like what I do, follow me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects I'm a part of. I'm a part of a few different APs right now. If you like me making bad decisions, I make bad decisions in all of the games I play, so come check me out. And I will pass it along to C.
Hi, everyone. My name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I am a dancer, digital artist, and tabletop streamer. I played Oka Hien, your target of assassinations. Let me just say that one more time, because that has been true for a while now. I said it in episode 1. I'm going to say it again real quick. Stabby Oka Hien. You can find me making very trans, very gay art. Am I going to draw some very moody Okran art? Yes, I am. You just know I am. So you can find that when it happens at Pie Sharp Art anywhere across the internet. I do lots of stuff. I would love to do more stuff. I'm doing stuff right now. This is like February, so I don't know what I'm doing right now. That's the future. That's future C's problem. But check it out. Love you all so much. I'll pass it to Connie.
Yes. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Remember, tune in next Saturday at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for episode 6 of Arc 5 with their Kirtal group. Oh my goodness. How are they going to get out of the situation that they are finding themselves in? Who knows? It's like one of those generic sign-offs.
You say that like you don't know what the situation is.
I wonder what snafu they've gotten themselves in that will take a 3-act structure to dig themselves out of. Anyway, I've been Connie. We will see you next week. We love you all so much. Make sure to use the raid message. I'm sure we're raiding someone really awesome right now. Toss them a follow. Say Transplanar sent you. Rep Transplanar in chat. We love you all so much. Shpijo, Bijo.